In cases where normal fragments of silicon are not available, a child's drawing of fragments of silicon can be used in its place.
All right, welcome to another installment of Fragments of Silicon. I'm your host, Adam. Joining me, as always, are Gallix and Petty Fan. Um, so I guess we get to the news, as we often do. Gallix, why don't you start us off this week?
Well, there was a bit of excitement at work today because one of the we have a vehicle we use for people with disabilities who want to learn to drive for them to practice in, and
Mm-hmm.
apparently it was leaking gas significantly after when we went to look at it
Oof.
after having not been used for a bit. So that's at some service place. It got towed by AAA. Uh, Otherwise, it's been pretty low key. Um, Trying to rearrange my schedule for later this week because I need to do some cleaning, and we have a Friday show.
Yep.
And my parents had plans on Friday that I thought was going to make some of that easier, but they wouldn't. And then those plans got canceled anyway. So who knows? Also, no particular changes in video games. Still working my way through Legends Arceus and Super Robot Wars 30 mostly.
Okay. Petty, it's your go.
Um, Nothing too terribly big has happened. I ended up having to spend a little over $1,300 to get Dad's car fixed, so that was fun.
That's quite the expense.
Yeah, because he's been using my mom's car, so it's either he keeps using that and, putting a whole bunch of miles on it, or we get his car fixed, and he uses that.
And what was wrong with the car?
Um, Something was wrong with the windshield, and I think there was something wrong with the motor mounts, and then there was something else. I don't remember the full details.
Something was wrong with the windshield?
Yeah,
Like crack or like the seal was loose?
um, I'm assuming crack of some kind because they had to replace it.
Okay.
I hadn't. Dad was originally trying to sell it. He had a Nissan Trax that he got instead, but he
Ah.
couldn't afford the taxes and the car payments on the Trax. So he had to get rid of that and got his car back. And it sustained a very significant amount of damage on the lot he had it on to get it sold. And because he's an impatient dumbass, instead of, having it looked at by somebody and potentially having the dealership it was on pay for it like what should have happened, he took it off the lot. So any chances of getting any of that paid for or reimbursed by the lot that had it is going to be next to impossible. Good thing my last big check for my SSI settlement came in.
It must be hellish being the responsible one.
I know. Um, Also, my box for Digimon Next Adventure, I believe this one's called, came in. Got some pretty decent cards. Should be able to get the rest of what I need for my deck in trade, so yay!
Yeah, I got a pack of that too. I got about half of the this set they put in a special thing where there's a freaking extra bonus cards that are like numbered separately from the set.
Yeah, it's Basically the campaign rares from um one promotion they had going in Japan. They just
Yeah.
decided to kind of throw it in with this set.
Yeah, I got about four of those.
Yeah, it's about 3 or 4 per box, so yeah.
Hmm.
Um, Honestly, I
Oh,
like it this way better than making them tournament promotions or something like that.
Oh yeah, it's a little always a little bit odd to see.
Yeah. And tomorrow I should be having an MRI done on my knee. And since we have some other stuff to do in the big city, I may see about going to Micro Center and see if I can get a new graphics card, depending on if we have a snowstorm.
Yeah, it's
So,
snowing just a bit here.
yeah. Hopefully we can go. I can get a new graphics card and everything be hunky dory.
that seems incumbent on getting a new graphics card.
Yeah, but we shall see. Anyway, I think that's it from me off the top of my head.
All right. I guess it's my go. Let's see. I guess the news here is spring has arrived, and that means 80-degree days.
Fun.
Eh, I
I can
mean,
check. Spring technically arrives what, later this month, but yeah.
I mean, yes,
Spring
you're
weather
technically.
has arrived.
Oh, okay.
I know it always feels really weird to me how late into the perceived seasons the official change is.
Yeah. Though it's apparently supposed to cool down this weekend into next week, which is once again still winter. So
Hmm.
keep in mind, cooling down is like the 60s.
Hmm. You know, about like what it is when it's unseasonably warm here.
Uh-huh. Uh, let's see. Just picked up a plastic basket to hold things in. Um, and I guess the big news, as it were, is our guest this week, or at least for the Wednesday show here, had to cancel rather last minute. Like, I didn't get a cancellation notice until like fucking midnight today.
Those are the best.
Uh, so, you know, let's just say complications arose. Um, and apparently there were more complications than was revealed publicly. Or maybe I'm reading a bit too into that. What he said on Twitter was enough. So, long and short of things, we'll be having Fred on in May, hopefully.
Mm.
And yeah, that's about it for my news. So, given that we have no guests this week, we shall head into another installment of Let's Play Heaven's Vault. If I'm remembering correctly, we were stuck outside the main gate of our protagonist's hometown.
Yes.
Something
Like,
like that, I think. I will be right back. Actually, I have to take care of something real quick.
Alrighty.
oh, let's crack this open. Let's see.
Um,
Uh, you don't know any respectable people.
God, sounds like our clientele. I mean,
All right. Trying to remember what we need. Well, okay. So basically, they're hinting with the subtlety of a snow shovel that we should go back to the ship.
Leave the moon.
Yes.
To the moon. Oh, wait, no, hold on.
From the Earth to the moon. Just don't crash into any moon eyes.
I guarantee nothing. Alrighty.
Seems like we've got options. But
So I guess move on.
for the moment, I'm sure we'll be back. In fact, I know we'll be back.
So I guess to Inox.
Is that the moon?
I
I
guess
mean,
we can either go from the site from the mural or to Inox or
hmm. All right.
decisions.
Let's see. Let's go to the mural site.
Alrighty.
Oh. Hmm.
And we fly.
Or surf. That's handy.
I mean, I could cast us into the void if I really wanted to.
I mean, I think we are being cast into the void. Like, not for nothing, but these sky rivers are very void-like. Like, this looks like a void to me. Maybe a bit more rocky than you'd expect, but still, I'd consider this to be a void. So I guess carbon dating doesn't exist in this universe.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, she doesn't know how old her ship is. Or, granted, there could be something here that would interfere with such a process, and I wouldn't put it past them. But it doesn't seem to be terribly relevant.
Mm,
Like, yourself coming back. Like, I think they mean that a bit more literally.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that.
congratulations, you didn't die.
They say the Ghost Wake is haunted. Yes. Like,
For some reason, that brought up a joke.
maybe dreaming of electric sheep.
No, well, that wasn't the one I was thinking of.
Anyway. Probably just the wind. Yes, that does seem to be highly improbable.
Mm-hmm.
Ancient robots.
Although, really, in this world, who knows?
Uh-huh.
Just as long as nobody brings up walk like an Egyptian.
I mean, we are heading to a mural site. There could be hieroglyphics, but in reality, or in this reality, it's going to be more petroglyphics or whatever the fuck the language we're working with here. I mean, it's definitely pictographic,
Hmm.
and does not. And I don't think you could quantify it as having an actual alphabet, because the characters are symbols rather
I
than.
don't know. They could be alphabetic. Well, no. Based on how we're doing them, they're pictographic, at least partially, or not pictographic, but whatever.
Uh,
It's a little bit tricky because we have no idea how any of it is pronounced, so we don't know whether they're syllables or phonemes or what.
right. This place
There is
is
no air.
quite the distance.
Uh-huh. So yes, we're trying to track down that location that was on the mural of
Yes.
the Lost Empire or whatever.
Yes, that is what we are currently doing.
To the ruins.
All right. And now we've actually got to find the site. We're in the area. Or is it actually 4 sites?
Apparently, Robo Boy found something.
Hmm.
There are ruins, but there is no air. So
Uh,
yeah, yeah. Get to yeah.
We got story at the end, I at the beginning.
What is the letter Y?
So we think story is not what that means.
All right. Scratched stylus. Oh.
Let's see, it has the same thing at the very beginning for pray.
Uh-huh.
And pray has the person symbol in the second half.
All right, we're going with
So it could be a verb. So it might be watch or write. Oh, it's a stylus, so write would make sense.
I,
true.
not story.
Uh,
And we've got the middle glyph to figure out. I would go with right.
Truth, then?
Truth
The,
could work.
the things that make sense here are either I write truth or I see safety or whatever. So
It's a stylus, so I would go with the word right.
You're right. That's why I thought that. That said, we don't know if this is the whole, or rather, that's a broken thing. So
It's what we got right now.
right.
So yeah, Petty, go with right.
you're real far behind, Adam.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I,
That's the wrong feed.
there's more than one.
I am looking at 2. Because sometimes that happens.
Yeah. So we've gone too far,
Yeah.
but we can swoop around here, and I think
Yeah.
we'll be. We can get to one of them from there at least. I'm slightly unsure why we go faster with our sails in. I mean, I
Uh,
guess it's paddling, but it stays
Yeah.
faster for longer than that.
I think it's momentum. Like it's using the sails to judder kinetic force back and using the recoil to press forward.
Something like that.
all I know is I hit W and go faster. They don't pay me for to try and get a physics degree.
So there's one
Look,
location.
but it's also this is a river ride where there's not much to look at and can be very boring. So
So
gotta focus.
mainly a river ride.
Mm-hmm.
Except it's sort of a river and sort of like a current in a much wider.
I mean, in the end, it's all fluids if you think about it.
Yeah. Or
Except for
a
the part that's possibly vacuum. Because they did just mention the thing about needing air, which is weird.
anyway, we found something. So abandoned. Probably this might be the mural site. In fact, I'd venture to guess it's the mural site since it's got an actual location. Found a lush moon. Are there people here? So it is indeed not inhabited.
Maybe not currently, but that looks like a building up ahead. Please stop spinning the camera.
You're not my dad. Unless.
Yeah, knock that off.
No, I'm not.
Good to know. Oh no, another door. Oh, wow. Interesting place for them to put the camera for me.
Yeah. Hmm. Wonder if there's a crowbar lying around.
I mean, we have a robot.
Probably
A
more like a
crowbar?
code, or it's probably more like a code or something.
It looks like there's a. Yeah. I mean, it's not like we haven't seen a system like this before. In the recent past, no less. Go ahead. Hmm. Fragrant.
Break the door?
We can look for a key first.
It seems more like we could break it down.
I mean, I'm down for fucking violence. Oh, it's not gonna let me.
No, but apparently they want us to look for the key.
Sorry.
No, Why are you apologizing?
Well, I was the first one that said that.
Hmm.
Probably look at the goddess statue
We're just
at
gonna
some
see if we can
point.
unlock this door. Oh, there are no hinges on it. That would explain why it wouldn't open.
I mean, it might not be meant to be opened.
The world may never know.
Just seen through, or
Curious. Perhaps she was so sacred that they would not dare inscribe anything on her visage.
possibly.
So should I try and cross the bridge or?
I'm sure we'll be fine.
Not until there's not another option, or I don't know, maybe.
Ew.
Yeah, it sounds like explore the grounds first before going through the one-way passage.
To be fair, how would I have known it was one way?
I mean, they kind of gave you some ample warning. I'm intact.
You're still behind Adam.
I mean,
Well, let's look around first. Petty.
Sorry.
Because now we'll have to jump again if we want to look around over there.
Fair enough.
hmm. Do 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 do.
And there's an inscription.
Oh boy, time to get to transliterating.
Uh, follow Emperor?
That's what it looks like, unless it's parsed differently.
Follow is correct. Follow the emperor. Word acquired. This is the emperor's garden.
Codex has been updated.
Hmm.
Oh boy, a painting.
More specifically, a mural.
Yeah, weird how that works.
But I guess also you could say it's a fresco.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Oh wow, that is a lot of shit to parse.
I'm not sure what the difference between a fresco and a mural is.
I'm sure we can look it up later. Okay, so she's not even going to attempt to translate that monstrosity.
We could deal with it another time.
Yes. Oh, how are we doing?
Ooh,
I
greenhouse.
actually recognized at least a quarter of that, so.
Hmm. Yeah, I remember this place. The door has been rusted shut. Seriously, she didn't think to bring some tools. You know, some archaeologist. Like, I bet she's really wishing she brought a crowbar.
Uh huh. Although you have to be careful with crowbars not to damage important things.
I know, but a retirement villa. I could see that. Now we just got to locate the bones of Charles V.
Deep cuts.
Hmm. Like, I don't think trees like do not ascribe human emotions to trees.
I'm not sure self-interested is really a human emotion. It's an accurate descriptor of.
It's like they're trying to get rid of them, which may hold some water.
The university cares for your well-beings. Sure, it does.
Then give me something with corporeal form that I can use a battering ram.
Well, there's a dot up there. Is this the broken spot again?
Yeah.
Will it let us try to go across again? Because I saw at least one dot on the other side. Nope, it won't.
Oh. Um.
Huh.
Wily Coyote, this shit.
Yeah, I'm like, well, if you don't want to tell gravity, I won't. Yeah, I guess one of the fundamental forces of the universe just decided to go to lunch.
Yeah, physics detection is different.
A bit ropey.
It's built different.
I'll go with that. It's a big place. Lots
Yeah.
of lots of nooks and crannies.
Oh man. Is there a Tom Nook?
No, I don't think anyone's paid rent on this place in a long time.
Hmm. Hmm. Can we look at our inscriptions not at this point, or
I think
is that
so.
yeah? No, I was just wondering about the one in the
Oh.
faded frieze, I guess. So they're just giving us Emperor's Secret Garden, or no? They will let us figure it out.
Okay. Nope. See if we can break this. We don't have a lot here.
like there's more than that we have, but okay. If the
Not according.
game's only saying that much is relevant,
Then that's all we got.
I guess.
Well, keep in mind this isn't reality.
Uh-huh.
Like this is still beholden to game mechanics. I'm sure there's a game developer essay to be written about that.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah. Yeah, we got that.
Okay.
Right. Anyway, we should probably wrap this up for now,
Yeah.
as it's 10 after.
Yippee deppy. Alrighty, so I guess music.
When you're in position.
Alrighty.
All right, welcome to the topic of discussion. And this week we are talking about Power Slave. Power Slave is the fifth studio album by English heavy metal band Iron Maiden. It is also a 1996 Saturn game, PlayStation, and PC. And the two Power Slaves do have a connection in that the album greatly influenced the aesthetic and design of the game.
Funny how that works.
Yes. I mean, it's not just in the name, but if you look at the the album cover, it's got this pyramid swing setup, and it looks well like the game, in a sense of being. Yeah. Anyway, so we're talking about Power Slave because, well, first of all, we don't collectively know a lot about Souls games. It's certainly not enough to talk about Elden Ring. Also, nobody here has Elden Ring. Like, and I don't think anyone here enjoys Souls games enough to talk about Dark Souls.
Right.
Yeah. But what we can talk about is FPS games from the 90s.
Yeah, weird how that
And,
works.
well,
I mean, you guys can.
right.
I can a little.
Right. Now, granted, in the case of Power Slave, this is a deep reach, if we're being honest here. It's certainly not a game that comes up, not even the Duke Nukems and Quakes of the 90s. This, this isn't even appearing ahead of, say, Shadow Warrior Blood. And there are a few reasons for that. Because the initial version of Power Slave has a bit of a complicated development process in that it was originally commissioned as a build engine game for 3D Realms, and while they were working on that version, they decided to bring this game to consoles. But as it turns out, the build engine wasn't exactly having good times working on consoles, specifically the Saturn. So I don't know how they did this exactly, because I'm not sure how big Lobotomy Software was, but while they're working on this one game, they decided to port this game in-house, and they decided to bring it, put it in its own engine called the Slave Driver engine. But that is a name that hasn't aged well.
Yeah.
I'm like, but anyway, and in order to bring it to the Saturn, they had to change the game so much that Saturn Power Quake and PC Power Quake are pretty much two different games. Now, the PlayStation version, rather similar to the Saturn version, only that had to be adjusted to meet the specific specifications of the PlayStation. Also, apparently, Sony had a Nintendo clause in their contracts wherein it's like if you ported a game to their system, you had to change some stuff up or add some new content. This is why NES Double Dragon is markedly different than any other version, by the way.
Mm,
Among other examples. So what the PlayStation did was, change some enemies around. I don't think they changed too much of the level design. It has better water. The water used in the Night Dive re-release of this, well, it's not really a re-release. In fact, what Night Dive does in the modern day is they don't just remaster stuff. Um, this they remix. This move has been a lot less controversial than I would have imagined because the product that is known as Power Slave Exhumed is not the original game. Um, not even close. It is a remix of all of the choice elements of the three versions. It's mostly the Saturn version, but for example, they brought in the water that can actually fucking display transparencies instead of that mesh piece of shit from the Saturn. The Saturn had real problems displaying transparencies, so they
hmm
often had this mesh effect that always looked pretty awful. Um, and like they actually drew from the PC version the highest quality art assets. Like the enemies are from, um, like the Anubis zombies, they're from the PC version. Uh, and yeah, so this is basically a remix of all these games and presented as a new product. So probably something we should ask Steven the next time we have him on the program. If how controversial these remixing elements actually have proven to be. Because
hmm
I know there are some people here who will be upset because, it's not just the Saturn game, but ported. Um,
Which is what some people are going to want.
yes. Um, especially since, the great selling point of Power Slave, especially back in the day, was it's Metroid Prime before Metroid Prime.
hmm
As in, it's probably the first, um, or certainly one of the first exploration-based first-person shooters. I don't think you can quite quantify it as a first-person adventure like Metroid Prime, but it's definitely more in that ballpark than its DOS counterpart, which is straight 90s FPS, and a fairly unremarkable one at that. Like, there's a reason why when Power Slave is brought up, it's the Saturn version, because that is something that was trying to do something new, bold, and different, especially on a console. Which didn't exactly have the best reputation for FPSs during this time. So what you got here is this very hidden gem that has now been brought to modern platforms. Like every modern platform that's active got this game. And we did not actually get a copy. We sometimes review the Night Dive games here. Didn't get a code offer, probably because, while this is often called, this is called a Night Dive re-release because, well, they did the development. They're not the publishers or the owners of the IP. That is another company we've covered on this show. Throwback Entertainment. They're the ones who published that Gladiator game, and they've got a lot of old Acclaim games to their name. And somehow they got Power Slave. So they're the publishers of this one, and yes, that does make a difference because, if a different company handles the publishing, then you don't necessarily get the offer. Like when we reviewed Quake last year, that is because I just wanted to review Quake and hadn't. We did not get an offer for it. But anyway, as far as how well this has been brought to the modern age, it's another home run from Night Dive, from what I have seen. Some have been calling it the best Night Dive remastering, what have you, yet, which makes sense because, that's kind of how work goes. The more you do something, the better you get at it. And, they've been doing this kind of thing since 2013. So they got a sharp hand at it. I do wish I could get more into the specifications of Power Slave, but once again, didn't play it. It was a game that you could miss easily because between being released on, first release being on a not obscure console. The Saturn wasn't meant to be obscured. It just, tanked really fucking hard. And also handled by an obscure publisher, at least here in North America. The game was published by Playmates Interactive Entertainment, a very short-lived publisher who I mainly remember for handling Earthworm Jim. They got a few other credits to their name, but not much.
Mm.
Yeah. Also worth noting, for whatever possibly the publisher thing again, because this was published by Interplay in Europe. It was called Exhumed in Europe, which is probably a more fitting name since you're dealing with aliens who have stolen the mummified body of Ramses the Great. The plot is complete 90s FPS bullshit.
It's funny that it's more fun that way than if they're always super serious, I guess.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's a plot that that actually has a lot of dialogue behind it, but you'll probably check your brain out because it's so fucking ridiculous.
I mean, we got the trope codifier out there being demons has appeared on Mars. Are you a bad enough dude to save the Mars?
I mean, that is basically what's going on here. I mean, I'd say there's a bit more going just because Ramses the Great won't shut his gob about because he acts as your guide and he tells you where to fucking go and what to do. And wish I had more to say about Power Slave, but that's about all I have to say at this point in time. I'm like, we might end up reviewing it somewhere down the line. Couldn't say. It's one of those things that if it does happen, it happens because I deem it so, not out of obligation. So, with that in mind, that'll about do it for this installment of Fragments of Silicon. The week ahead. So, as mentioned, we do have a Friday show this week. And on Friday, we'll be welcoming Charles Wolf of Charles Wolf Music. He is a composer. He is actually a composer of many mediums, including video games. But obviously, given the focus of this show is video games, we'll be talking about his soundtracks. Um, Stuff like The Island of Spirits, Gem Trek of Carrots and Courage. And it's going to be a rarefied occasion because we'll be playing music during the broadcast. We have been assured that this stuff has been cleared. I am still nervous because, the copyright bots might not necessarily see it that way.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Keep in
though,
mind that we have, was it Mac literally, or was it one of our other acquaintances who got a copyright strike on a recording of themselves singing a song they wrote?
something like that. So, hopefully, hopefully this doesn't sink our channel, because that would be bad for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Then again, I think we'd be fine even with one copyright strike. You kind of have to build a few of those.
Yeah.
So, and coming up on the Sunday reviews, we'll be having reviews of Black Jewel, Hyper 5, File Under Kingdom, and Delta Light. And we also do have an episode of Moonhawk Studios Presents coming up at the top of the hour, as we'll be welcoming Corey J. Phillips, a prominent Funimation anime voice actor. This is going to be interesting because this is going to be Mac's first guest. So hopefully he's done all the wrangling.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we don't have a guest, I have no idea what the backup plan there is. We should probably ask Mac about that at some point. But anyway, so until then, I shall wish you good gaming.